Good morning, my friends. Happy Saturday morning. This is September 16th, 2023, and I'm standing out in front of my home. We live in Central Florida. Windermere is our little town, and we're very close to Orlando, for those of you who might see that as a place to be. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick mid-September tour. So many of you are experiencing leaves falling and your first cold being getting below 50. For us here in Florida, that's jacket weather and bringing out the gloves and scarves and worrying about whether your air conditioner will flip over to a heater. But anyway, all that said, I just wanted to give you an update. I don't know if you can tell, but the Drake elm tree is still pretty green. I'm starting to see just a lighter green, and we're seeing a few leaves that are falling. Not much to speak of, but this tree probably, last year I probably got about, between 40 and 50 pounds of leaves off of it that were fed to they dried, and then I pulverized them and fed them to my worms, and they gave me great castings. They were just beautiful and really dark and rich. But I started a new little flower bed here, and it's pretty much half volunteers and half seed. The seed came from just a packet of zinnia seeds, and they were the giant California seeds. And I just did this planting last week, so you can see that they are just in their beginning stages. Maybe by another couple weeks I might get some might get a first or second bloom out of it. The other thing I did was my volunteers pentas, that was all in bloom yesterday. I did make a video yesterday, and I was just getting ready to upload it, and I looked, and my computer, my camera somehow just ate it. It didn't work. So start again. Patience is a virtue, and it's one that we work on for life. I'll show you another bloom. These all came from the backyard. I planted zinnias, I planted pentas, probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I planted them in a pot. I bought the little plants, and I planted them in a pot, and they did not take off. They just started to die. So I planted them in the backyard under a plumeria tree, and they just keep dropping more and more seeds along the way. There are 15 volunteers here from the backyard, and so hopefully those and the zinnias will look really pretty together. I had them a few years ago where they just took over this whole space, and it was just the tops were just a solid red. But this Drake elm tree is just wonderful because it provides us with so much shade that our front room, I think you can see that, that's our a guest bedroom and our computer room there in the front, and the sun comes up behind me now, and it would beat directly on those two windows, and I mean, you felt like you could start a fire in that room. But now with this tree, it's probably 20 feet, and in the winter, when it gets cooler, all the leaves are dropped, and it's just bare. It's deciduous, just like trees are up north. And most of the trees here in Florida don't lose their leaves during the winter. Another one that does lose its leaves during the winter is the crepe myrtle tree, and that's what this is, a crepe myrtle. And you can still see it has one really tiny little blossom head left. There's just a few little blossoms. Most of them have turned to the berries. The birds, the bees love the blooms, and the birds seem to come and eat the seed portion of it. But the azaleas were original. We just celebrated our 16th anniversary of living in this house, and so 16 years in one house is a long time for most people in this area. But my azaleas were the originals, and I cut them back about every 2 or 3 years and let them go ahead and then flourish out. I did start this as I think I was growing marigolds, and I tried growing tomatoes. I don't know if it's because the sun beats so directly on it, if it isn't deep enough, or what the deal is. Right now I just took some grass, and I'm letting the grass keep the ground covered and keep it cool. But I just made a little teepee so that I could grow maybe peas or sweet peas or trailing beans or something along those lines. The liriope is a staple here. It stays all year long, and it has great little lavender blooms to it that seem to come out pretty much all year long, and the bees find it very, very attractive. We moved the fountain. It was over here, and when all the blossoms from the crepe myrtle were dropping, they were dropping into the water, and then they were clogging up the drain. So we moved it over here just to see how that would work. The arbicolas are, again, they're the bones of the place, and eventually they will have to come out, but not today. Down from there are the Wheeler mock oranges, and they're just a nice little shrub that seems to fill out, and they give some substance to the yard. The gardenia was just a little tiny plant quite a few years ago. I keep giving it worm tea and trying in hopes of getting it to be a darker green. This seems to be its level of green, actually, and in the spring it blooms. So I probably get 50 or 60 little beautiful gardenias, maybe 3 inches across, like a small hand, and just beautiful. Beautiful fragrance. Right behind there are the cranberry hibiscus. They started out being like little 2-inch plants, and they have really gotten huge, actually, and need to be trimmed back. The leaves are edible. The blossoms are edible. You guys have watched me make hibiscus tea, but this is cranberry hibiscus, and the leaves taste like cranberries. So you can make tea out of it. You can eat it raw. You can use it in your salad. You could make a cold soup out of it. I think it would be delicious. Below that are some things that I put, just seeds that I started. To your left are the Everglades tomatoes, and for those of you who I've sent seeds, you know that once you have Everglades tomatoes, they will keep dropping their seeds and coming back more and more. So I'm going to take those probably and plant them. They're in a tray right now and kind of crammed in there together, but I'm going to take them and put them in the backyard and see if I can get my winter tomatoes started. To the right, those are tricolored Chinese spinach for our salads. Wonderful, wonderful addition to salads. There's more here. And again, you can eat those like microgreens, or you can use them, however you wish. I got a few little basil seeds started because I know that they just take off, and they really provide me with, again, lots of basil for my kitchen. Again, salads and soups, teas as well. I started a pot of carrots, And we like the carrot greens. I don't know if most of you have ever tried this, but uh, you can take those greens, just this portion of it, it comes up, and you can eat those raw. They're absolutely delicious. I think that's probably about all I've got going on. More of the tricolored spinach. Oh, I do have a pot of giant Japanese red mustard, and they're almost too big to eat raw. At this stage, the wasabi flavor in it would it'll cut the back of your throat. But they're really great if you chop it and put it in a salad with other greens, or if you wish and you want to have it by itself, fry up a piece of bacon and put that in with it, and it's a delicious flavor. I mean, really delicious. That wasabi flavor is really great. And it brings us back to the driveway, to the two bougainvillea that I have had here for, I don't know, 12, 13 years. I always forget whether it was 2008, 9, somewhere in that range that I planted these, and they were only about a foot high. And the important thing is to keep all of that green. You can see that I've got some green there, and I've already pulled back a few. But any of that, they'll keep sprouting along the bark, and it's important to keep that really clean because it gives its the integrity of the plant is that you really want it to come up like this and then bloom at the top. The thorns on them, to have it as a shrub, boy, you really would tear yourself up. But if you keep it up like this, you can pretty much keep it a little more under control. They're so heavy, and because they are right here and they only have about a foot of soil and then going down underneath the driveway, we actually had to strap those to our columns. Unfortunately, Rick couldn't find anything but an orange strap, so it's kind of unsightly, but it's amazing how people will go, oh, I didn't even see it. But anyway, we trimmed these back about about a week ago, and so the blooms have not appeared yet. They seem to bloom right on the end of each little branch that comes out. Each little branch that comes out, suddenly those last leaves will turn this beautiful fuchsia color. Some pentas down below. Again, more volunteers. My yard is made up a lot of volunteers. I just enjoy taking something from one part of the yard and moving it around and allowing it to multiply. So with that, I will say I hope everybody has a great day. I hope you have a very peaceful day. And remember, garden what you've got, and I promise to come back and see you again real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.